This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded October 21st, 2012. Episode 118, Facinorous, Financial Foulness.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Chip Report TV and Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
What's up?
Hey, man.
What's happening?
Just another day, you know?
Yeah, Monday. Well, it's Monday here. It's Sunday night
Monday,
there.
right.
Yeah, Monday morning here.
Mondays.
Pretty depressing. Even when you work for yourself, it's kind of still depressing. You you still have that hangover thing. You know, you're going up in the lift and you talk to people. Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, you know, everyone grunts. And it's just one of those leftover things.
The problem with...
But I don't work on the weekends.
I figure
much,
if I worked for myself, I'd work all weekend, though. That's the thing. So I don't see the difference.
Exactly, but that's the deal with the wife.
It's a good deal.
I do as little work as I can on the weekends, even though she doesn't work either, right? So,
right.
She's a full-time mummy, and
it's really smart from a life balance thing, but just given my current life, I work a day job, then I come home and I
work
all
five
night.
different blogs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stupid. I'm a dumbass.
No comment.
I'm literally an idiot. My brain is melting. But, there's always beer, so
Right.
at least I have a scapegoat.
How many blogs are you and what websites are you trying to maintain at the moment?
Well, I got Chip Report. There's a new Chip Report. I can link that in this week.
Of course. Might as well get the plug in.
Yeah, why not? Then I got my Chris Gamble's Analog Life, like I talk about.
Which you don't do much on anymore, do you?
No, I don't.
Right.
I just reformatted it, but yeah, I don't write there anymore. And then Engineer Blogs is kind of dead, and...
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I actually like some of the articles on that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was everybody else, too. It might come back. I don't know.
Right.
And then the Engineering Commons is the other podcast, so...
How's that
all
going?
told, yeah, a couple. It's going good. It's going good.
Okay. And you've got other ideas as well, which you haven't actually launched yet, right?
No. I have another podcast in the dreaming, and then
So,
then you and I have been talking about, not starting a combined Kickstarter, but I've been noodling the idea, and it's a terrible idea. It's just an absolutely terrible idea.
why? The actual project itself, or the fact that you want to crowdsource fund it?
No, the fact that I think I can fit something else in my life without dying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know. There was that talk that what's his name, Nathan from SparkFun gave about the different stages and everything, and
the pit of despair.
The pit of despair, and it's like, I know it's not a guaranteed thing, but there is a legitimate chance that if I started a Kickstarter and it did okay, that I'd have to quit my job, right? And
Of course, yeah.
That's a big deal, right?
Yeah, and you would be left in that middle ground because
not necessarily.
if you don't go on and make something of that business that started from the Kickstarter, if you just sold a couple of thousand of your widgets and you went, oh shit, I've got to deliver a couple of thousand, and then that's it ended. Then, you're out of a job and you're,
Right, yeah, no, that's what you and I were talking about, right? It's like, Kickstarter's not meant to start businesses, but at the same time, if you don't, what do? You just, hey, boss, I'm back.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do? I don't get it.
Done quite, and a lot of them fold as the top of the list here on today's
That's right,
thing. I know
so
people
what is this
don't
one?
like us talking about this, but we've talked about this on the show before, the open source remote control thing. I'm sure we've talked about it maybe a year ago now, right? It was a long time ago. And really funky looking remote control.
It had everything.
Right? It had everything.
It was the
kitchen
everything.
sink, yeah. And it was brilliant. And but I just
maybe not.
I just got a message this morning. I don't even know if it's public yet. I went to their website and there didn't seem to be anything there on it, but I was No,
Oops.
Yeah, well, oops. Sorry
Better hope
if you're
so.
looking at this, but I was sent a message this morning via YouTube, of all places, from the guy who runs it. I'm not sure if it was a mass message or whether or not it was individually. It's hard to tell on YouTube. And he said, sorry, the quote is, let me get it. Come on, interwebs. The open source RC is now dead, quote, due to insufficient funding and lack of support from the open source community. Which, translated, I think means just they didn't get enough money. End of story. I think they had plenty of support. Heaps of people
Was there a
waiting
Kickstarter
for
for that or no?
I don't recall, so I'm not going to say yes or no. I mean, obviously, if there was a Kickstarter and it met the funding target, then, well,
right,
that's it.
You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to follow through, but then you're supposed to give the people the money back. So,
yeah, well,
right. I mean, that's how it works.
So I'm not sure how it was funded or how they were trying to get funding for it. I don't recall at all. We don't do research here on the Amp Hour for our stories. I just added this, 20 minutes ago. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is an interesting idea, though. This is a pretty classic case of pricing problems, and then also, feature creep, right? I mean,
feature creep, maybe biting off more than you can chew, and also competing in a market that, as Alan Garfield pointed out on Twitter when I tweeted this thing, he's used to work in an RC company or something, and he said that the remote control unit itself has always been built down to the lowest price point. Or something like that. I mean, I bought one for my quadcopter, right? $50 for this.
That's what I was thinking.
This 9-channel remote control, and included the receiver and everything. It's a Turnigy brand one, not exactly the Duck's guts, right? But it's $50, and it's 9-channel and digital and everything else, like with the LCD screen on it and all the configuration set up, everything. How can you compete with that?
Well, I remember when we talked about this project the first time, I think that was one of my first exposures to at least the remotes. I knew quadcopters needed remotes or something, but I remember seeing it, and then that kind of anchored the price. And this one was like, it was targeted like $800 or something.
It was
pretty
pretty
expensive.
Features
and it's pretty expensive, right? And then I remember a couple weeks or months later, I saw on Hobby King, I think it was, where I was looking at the actual controllers, and someone told me, it's like a $50 control. And it's like, really? $50? That's like 1/16th of what I thought it would be,
Exactly.
Like, and like you said, it had tons of features anyways, so...
I mean, granted, the
from.
quality of my Turnigy one is pretty poor. Like the battery cover, you can't even put it on. It's the quality, it's really built down to $50, but it works. It's $50. I mean,
right.
Jeez.
Well, it depends on the market you play in, too.
Well,
I mean, if you're playing in a hobby market, then you're going to need hobby prices. People are going to chase the lowest cost.
Of course.
If you're playing in a quality market, and even I think a lot of people these days are chasing low cost regardless, even companies.
Yep.
But, like, you need to actually have pricing that meets your market, which sucks,
Yeah, well, exactly.
Like,
well, you can pay a couple of $100 for a top quality Futaba remote control or one of those Japanese brand. You can. Serious enthusiasts might pay $300-400 for their remote controls, but
they're. But it's
like,
less in economics, right? At the top, at top end of the scale, you're just going to have fewer customers.
That's right.
I took economics once. I know what I'm talking about, kind of, sort of, not really, and. You charge more, you make, like you have fewer customers, but you need to make more margin.
That's it.
I knew about that at one point.
Right.
So that's too bad, though. I mean, that sucks that you never want to see a project end, but it could just have been expectations or whatever else, but it's too bad.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But it's part of the cycle, right? It's all.
It is. So let that be a lesson to you. Not all open source hardware projects go to plan.
Yeah.
Some of them fail miserably.
It's not just open source hardware as well. It's big funded projects like the battery company, right? A123.
They're gone tits up.
They're gone too. Yeah. So they were. They had a couple of $100 million, I think, invested in them.
Only
as well.
a couple $100 million, yeah.
Right. Only a couple $100 million. And now they're selling off all their stuff, and they're saying, "Yep, we're gone." And this is and if people don't know who A123 is, I mean, this is like our guest Bob Simpson. He had designed an A123 packs. I believe the A123 are in the Tesla as well. I could be wrong about that, but
I thought Tesla rolled their own.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, they make battery packs for the leading developer of battery packs for EV cars, at least for the aftermarket. One, aren't they? Or do they do ones
I mean,
for the...
They're in the Chevy Volt, too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're in the Volt.
There you go.
So,
well,
I mean, yeah, not exactly a small thing, but it's just a... it's a economics thing, right? You run out of money eventually.
Well, are their customers going to let them fail? It's one of these things where, it's like the chip companies, right? None of these automotive manufacturers are going to let their prime chip company fail because they produce the chips for them. They're contracted to produce the chips. So I suspect this mob is too big to fail, like a chip company. They're going to be bailed. No,
they're not. They sold all their stuff to Johnson Controls, who's another big maker, basically. So
but they will continue on, right? So their contracts will probably switch over
with
to the new company. Exactly. It's not like they go out of business and then the Chevy, GM, they're scratching their heads. Oh shit, where do we buy our batteries from? No, they'll just move over to Johnson, right?
Right.
That's how it works. So technically, yes, they were too big to fail.
Hey, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, but they didn't just fail, right?
Johnson maybe the product line was too big to fail,
right?
But
well, the company failed, right? And they sold for pennies on the dollar, but their market remained, right? Their customers remained. Their customers weren't necessarily left holding a bag, I don't think.
No, that's true. Yeah, they're not.
That's
what
I'm talking about. In terms of too big to fail, that all their customers were just left.
Is, though.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. But
that's like maybe I'll give you like too important to fail or too entrenched to fail, but no, not too big to fail. Too big to fail is something totally different.
Right.
It's stupid.
Well, too big to get, like they failed, but they didn't go out of business, if you know what I mean. Maybe that's a better term. Maybe too big to go out of business, like completely, like literally turn off the lights and go, well, bye-bye. No, all this stuff was bought out. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to just let this one go.
I think we're flogging a dead horse there.
Yeah. But it sucks because battery technology is really important, It's like, and it's not getting any better. There's no big jumps in batteries. You keep hearing all this stuff. You see all these articles on Spectrum and, in EE Times and stuff like that. Oh, this new technology and this new chemistry, and it's like, man, it's just a grind. It's just we need some kind of like leap forward, and it's really tough to do.
That's why I'm wondering, how did they fail? Was it just bad mismanagement? Because I thought they would have had contracts to sell all these batteries.
They had a recall at one point.
Oh, okay, right. That could have stung them real bad. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a tech review article that I'll link in as well about what happened to A123.
Okay.
And it sucks, But
are the jobs staying there? Or a good percentage of them?
They sold off. It says they sold off their assets to Johnson, including the factories in Michigan and China. So
right.
You know how it goes when companies kind of
been there, done that,
and stuff like that. Right, exactly. So it's I'm sure not every job will be the same because new company comes in, they always have to clean up the books and make things look good and find efficiencies, yada yada yada. But
well, the company failed. Companies fail for one reason: finances. Right, that's the reason they fail. Nothing
Unfortunately,
else.
Yes.
Really. That's that's pretty much right. They run out of money. Oops.
Right, and that can be driven by different things, right? That can be driven by
market dries up or whatever.
It could be market. Like that's what happened with Solyndra, right?
There was an recall.
Recall's another one. With Solyndra, it was apparently they bet on the wrong technology, right?
So, yeah, well, that's a strategic.
Yeah. So that's a big thing, right? I mean, they bet on the fact that polysilicon at the time was $400, and then basically all of this new polysilicon production came up in the States and elsewhere, and it dropped to $30, and so basically it became really cheap to make these now silicon wafer, solar cells versus doing thin film or whatever Solyndra was doing, those cylinders, and And basically, so they just got flooded with all these other. Everybody else was able to make it way cheaper now, and so like you said, the market that's when that kind of thing happens.
Oops.
Or it could be, your executives could run off with cash, or there could just be mismanagement. I mean, there really are a lot of ways, but like you said, it always does come down to eventually at some point either your bankers are calling you for payments and you can't make them, or your board shuts you down, or your board kicks someone out.
Oh, hey, yes.
Yeah, what's going on
now
there?
We're getting into some real news
yeah.
here. This is huge.
What happened here?
It took
Is this
me
a little
by surprise, and it took most people, well, pretty much everyone in the industry by surprise. My former company, Altium, Nick Martin, who's the original founder, founded in Tasmania here in Australia, and back at 27 years ago or something, he was just booted out by the board. Clearly booted out by the board. We'll link in the Altium press release to the stock exchange, and he was given the arse, and that is clear, of course.
I always like that term.
Given the
ass.
Yeah, arse, not ass. Arse here in Australia.
Ass.
And that's very clear from the standard industry terminology here in the. Shall I read it? Some of it.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Maybe abridged. How about that?
Oh, yes. No, I'll read the one paragraph. While Altium has made considerable progress over the past 12 months, having relocated its global headquarters to China and returning to profitability, it is the board's decision that it is in the best interests of Altium to adopt a different style of leadership, with focus on returning value to shareholders. End quote. Which means...
Bullshit.
Which is, of course, absolutely industry standard
we didn't have like an air
terminology,
horn.
We booted out the CEO because we didn't like him and we didn't agree with him. So, end of story.
Oh, no.
And he is gone, apparently. He is I don't know if they marched him out the door, but he is... it says he has been removed from, or he stepped down, of course. He was asked to step down. That's how it works here. That's how it works in big companies like that. And he stepped down from all of his positions within the company with an immediate effect. There you go.
Jeez.
And
that's crazy.
I mean, this is the guy who's been the head, the face of Altium for its entire life. He set the technical direction. He did everything. He was still a very hands-on CEO. He was one of the very few hands-on CEOs of any company, let alone an EDA company, in terms of still getting in there and cutting code and playing around with the product and actually using the product and all that sort of stuff. Really, really hands-on guy. So, and he's gone. The board absolutely booted him out, and
so how does it feel? And I mean, like, is this like a? Let me try and say this word again because I got it wrong the last. I think I'll probably get it wrong again. Schadenfreude. No, Schadenfreude. I'm going to stick with that. Schadenfreude.
Gesundheit. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's a German word, basically feeling good when other people have pain.
Oh, right. No, a guy like Nick. He's a nice guy, and he got the raw end of the. He got booted out. Whether or not people think he might have deserved it for the direction he took the company, you can't knock his commitment and devotion to the company over 25 plus years.
A nice endorsement from David L. Jones. That's
no, he's a nice guy. I got nothing against the guy. Did I agree with his direction? No. Just like a lot of most of his directions? No. Just like a lot of people in the industry. That doesn't mean I don't like the guy. It's and he will probably. If Altium fail now, right? Nick will be the hero, and the board will be the evil board who booted out the the charismatic leader, and so the board have to follow through now and actually
so they set themselves up basically.
And by the way, I don't think there's anything I can say here that's not publicly available information because I don't know anything, so it's all
right. Yeah, you're not you're not on the board.
No,
right?
I'm not the board. I don't actually know any of the board members personally, so really.
No, that's how it usually goes.
Yeah, so
you'll never meet them.
Yeah, no, it's right. So
I always wonder what those meetings are like too. Like it's
I know
it's so high level, right? It's just like I don't know. Like basically boards are there to kind of rein in CEOs, right? They're supposed to represent the shareholders, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I mean, like, granted, I never have a very good view of this stuff in the first place, but really, like, what are they really? I mean, like,
I
don't
really
know.
I'd love to be
him?
on a fly on the wall. Yeah.
I would too. Oh,
Yeah,
man. I'd love to be on a board. Those guys get paid like $25,000 for showing up for meetings.
Yeah,
like honestly, that's like what it ends up being.
Well, these ones. I think the lowest paid is about $60,000 or $70,000 just for showing up to a couple of meetings a year. I think that's all publicly available
per meeting.
info.
I meant $25,000 per meeting.
Oh, per meeting. Yeah, that's right. There's only like 4 meetings a year or something, I think.
Right, exactly. And they'll get paid or they'll get paid in stock or whatever else.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, man, how do I get that gig? How do I just get to? It's like like telling people what to do from far away, and getting paid for it. It's like this, except getting paid.
Well, that's and interestingly, Nick Martin is still the largest shareholder. He's still the largest shareholder. He owns like a quarter of the company, like 22 million shares or something. So
I bet he wished it was 51%.
Top dog as far as. Well, yeah, I bet he was wishing. Yeah, that's right. But I mean, it's no industry secret that Nick drove the direction of the company. That was all. He drove the direction, the technical direction of the company into these, some people say, crazy directions, the FPGA stuff when they floated, which probably seemed like a good idea at the time, but ultimately, pretty much was a public failure, pretty much. It still looks good on the marketing blurbs, but no, as a technical support kind of thing, they pretty much ultimately failed on that and other directions with the cloud and, everything else, rather than focusing on the core tool set, which is what I and probably 90% of the users ultimately wanted, was just to work on the core. But that's where he had the vision to follow all that stuff, right? And that's what he did. And it seems that the board weren't have determined that wasn't returning value to shareholders. So, but there's not too many, as far as I know. There's not too many. Shareholders, really. I think the board own a hell of a lot. Altium, Nick Martin owns a quarter. I think the rest are just dregs, So, and there's a big shareholder employee plan or say employee shareholder plan or something. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that never does as much as you think it would.
Shareholders, Yeah. So I don't think there's any like mysterious external shareholders that own 2/3 of the company. I don't think that exists. So. I don't know. It's hard to read this one. It's but he's certainly not booted.
What I was going
to
say is that the nice thing is that hopefully it means that the software will be around for a long time yet, and that's all I care about. To be honest, I don't give a crap about the company or anything else. And I don't think I'm alone here. I mean, I know that you're more invested in this because of your history with it, but most people that are Altium users, they just want to make sure it's going to be around, right? No one wants it to go away.
Exactly. Yeah, no one wants their tool to vanish. Exactly. And I'm hoping that, they'll return to the core feature set. I'm sure that's what most users are hoping. Oh, Nick's gone. Great. No more, no more cloud crap and all that sort of stuff. No more vision speak. No more, just give me PCB and schematic and fix those bugs,
Yeah. Yep. And with these big moves and these big, board sponsored, whatever the hell these things are, right? I mean, like, kick out the CEO, whatever. I really wish that they would just, like they're all saying, oh, well, this is for the shareholders, whatever. It's like, well, what about your friggin' users, right?
Exactly. Well, no,
I mean, it's like with...
Unfortunately, that they are legally, as a publicly listed company, they are legally obligated to do what's in the best... They have fiducial responsibility to
Fiducial
responsibility.
No, not fiducial. That's the wrong word. Yeah.
Fiduciary responsibility, I think, is the correct word. Fiduciary? Don't take financial term advice from electronics engineers.
We're both wrong. Yeah.
Right. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. That's their number one responsibility as a publicly listed company, like it or not. Whether or not it's a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of industry experts who say that is bad. If you don't focus on your customer, you're screwed. right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
But
right, and that was my thing, and because it's not just Altium, right? There's a story this week about ST Micro, and they're talking about breaking up the company. Let's see, and they're going to break it up between the analog, the digital section, and everybody else, right? And because it's down, sales are down to 10 billion this year. Oh, okay.
Only 10 billion. Jeez,
right.
It must be hard to manage the books.
I mean, I know these are big companies, right? ST is not a small company by any stretch, but it's really frustrating because what it really comes down to is that even if you get one of those letters that says, "Oh, well, we'll have chips around for 10 years or whatever,"
yep,
it's like, yeah, that stuff is totally valid until your company breaks in half, and it's like, well, screw you guys. You're making it harder for me. I'm never using your parts again. Like how do you possibly maintain any semblance of trust with your customers when like you can't you overextend yourself so much that you can't even hold together, right? It's like, well, we're gonna have to break it off. This isn't working out. It's not you, it's me, right? It's like, screw you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it's I know it's like a big game, to all these people. It's just money, it's just numbers on a balance sheet, whatever. It's like, no, this is real stuff, man. This is really affects a lot of people, and not even just me from a stress standpoint of I got to design someone else's part in now. It's like, no, you got 50,000 employees, like, and it's like. And it's the only reason it really bugs me is because when they take on projects that are super out there, right? I mean, they're leveraging the whole company and everything. I mean, like Freescale is doing, like they had a big problem with that a long time as well, where they were super leveraged, and then they went public, and then they went private, and then public again.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's this news now about the buyouts actually being rigged. Like, it's like, really? All this stuff is just so that we can make someone some money. Not even we, just so you idiots can make some money on chip companies. Couldn't you go and do this with railroads or friggin' medical companies? Like, couldn't you leave the chip companies alone?
Idiots, they are not. That's why they're rich. Bastards is what they are. Idiots, they are not. Right. Because they're rich and we're not.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. Yeah. Hey, we're the idiots that are just, making stuff. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doing it for the love of it. Ooh, go figure. And interestingly, that's what Nick has been doing. I believe that's what Nick's been doing for the last 25 years. He does it for the love of it, and I think that's probably what the board got sick of. Right? He just loved coming up with new ideas and following all these vision things, and the board finally went, well, that's not going to do us any good.
No, we need to make money now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that is admirable, right? To do that kind of thing.
Of course,
but
that's
you're right.
why
Eventually,
I don't dislike the guy, because he had a passion for this and he followed it. Granted, it wasn't.
That's awesome.
I don't think it was very practical. That's the issue I had. Was that some of the things they followed were not practical for an EDA company. But you can't doubt the man's passion.
Yeah, and make no bones about it, right? We'll make no bones about it that if you are a technical founder, eventually you are going to get pushed aside. That is just how it goes.
That's how it goes. Yeah. Yeah.
Either or the other option is you become business minded or something like that. But if you're just a technical founder, it's just it sucks. It's just how it is. It's just like, you look at like even Bill and Dave and HP, right?
Yep.
Like those guys, they started out technical founders and they actually morphed. They morphed into becoming, big businessmen, and they kind of grew up with the company and that kind of thing. And then, but look at HP these days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually they retired, and then they had no control over it, and it just became this megalith, right? Of you can't do anything about it at that point. It's even if your name's on the friggin' wall.
Yep.
So that
There's
sucks.
very few. I mean, if anyone knows of any technical companies of this scale, Altium's like a $50 million a year company, right? They're quite large-ish. Not as large as they used to be, but certainly still large-ish. If you know of anyone who's still being run by the original founder with their direction, they set everything, then let us know. I mean, Altium did it for a long time. Well, you can say ever since they floated in 2000. So they've been doing it for 12 years. They've been getting away with it for 12. Been doing that for 12 years, pretty much.
Right.
Because as soon as you float a company, of course, it's all over, right? You cease to own the company yourself, and that's when the board can throw you out as the CEO. Bang.
Right.
Like Jobs and everyone else. Steve Jobs and whoever.
Yeah.
You want to name.
Well, the one example I would have is probably Bob Dobkin, and every time I see that guy, talking about something. He's from Linear Technology. For people that don't know, that guy he's not in control still. I mean, he's definitely still an influencer. Was he ever in
control? Did he ever? Was he ever involved in the financial managerial side of the business, or did he always stay technical as a CTO or something? For example, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I really want to get on the show sometime.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have him.
He's definitely like at the very top.
Yep.
Like him and the Waz and a couple other people. They're at the top of our getting on the show list, but. He's still the chief technical officer. He's still involved. He's still doing stuff. That guy is awesome.
Maybe he's smart enough just to stay away from the board and the financial and management side of things.
That's very possible. That stuff can get messy and stupid, and and LT is a listed company. They're get billion plus revenue, and they're publicly listed, and so
maybe Nick would still be there if he was just the CTO.
That's a good question.
If he didn't try to set the direction of the company, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or tried to have less
very
influence.
Possible.
I don't know.
And, you read about, like, startup stuff, too, and they talk about, getting a CEO in after the founder, like, that kind of thing. And it's like, I've always... But, like, at the same time, like, do you really want to deal with that stuff? I mean, or, like, look at Google, right? Like, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they're not... I mean, I guess Larry Page is now in charge again, but... For a long time there, like Eric Schmidt was in charge, right? I mean, like they actually had a different person, and it can change a lot of stuff. It really does. You wouldn't think that one person matters that much, but it can change the culture, right? That's what really it ends up coming down to.
Yes, but it can also ruin a company as well. I mean, Altium have been financially in trouble a lot of times over the years, for example, because they've followed all these. Some people call crazy visions, right? Yeah. Is stepping into outside their main product stream, and spending a lot of money as a result, trying to follow these things that ultimately didn't work for them financially. So, it's not necessary. So the founder is not always the best person to run the company.
Yeah,
sometimes
you
need to get a CEO in who, who runs it like a... who has some adult supervision, so to speak, financially and managerial and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I mean, I guess the question is if EEV Blog Incorporated, right? If that started someday, would you stay in charge, or what do you think?
Of course, I bloody well would.
Yeah, okay. So you got 1,000 employees, and you go to just managing them. I mean, that's what it ultimately comes down to. Is you do have to give up a lot of stuff.
It wouldn't happen. No, I certainly would not. No, if I started up my own company where it could get to that point where it became a big organisation, no, I can't see myself managing the thing. Yeah. But I can see myself doing a nick and setting the direction of the company for sure. I certainly wouldn't want to give up that. I certainly wouldn't want to give it to some bloody guy in a freaking suit and a tie, CEO running the company. No.
NBA playbook in his back pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Screw that. Screw the NBA playbook. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, but at the same time,
I would have
to
give
that up if you're the CTO.
Well,
right?
That's right.
If you're just the CTO.
If I was just the CTO, I would be the chief technology officer, assuming I'd run a technology company. And not just some mail order company or something.
I was going to say Dave Jones' fruit smoothie stand.
Right, yeah. Oh, boy. Don't laugh. There's big money in that.
Oh, yeah? Fruit smoothies are a growth industry, huh?
They are. Oh, boy.
We're lobbying the government to lower the price of fruit and ice.
Oh, boy. So, I would have to admit that I wouldn't be able to run a company like that, I don't think, from a financial and, all that big industry point of view. Well, because I wouldn't give a shit for a start.
Right, exactly.
I just
You'd be like,
care.
the quarterly reports are due tomorrow? I'm doing electronics over here. Come on, man.
Bugger off, man. I just got this farty novelty toy. I'm going to play with this. Bugger that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
It's like, and I think most people like us would be in the same boat, right?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. That's how I think the Bob Dobkins and the Nick Martins roll, They just don't give a shit,
Well, yeah, and if you look at like the
cool
personality profiles too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the INTJ versus the whatever. The interesting thing is if you do look at like a Briggs or Myers-Briggs thing like that, like the INTJ is a lot of engineers, right? Like you and I are probably both INTJs.
What's this Myers-Briggs INTJ thing?
Oh, it's like a 4-letter thing, so it's like intuitive.
Right, it's a personality profile thing.
Yeah,
is
it's a personality profile, right? There's like 16 different types.
Right.
But the interesting thing is the INTJ is most engineers and scientists.
Oh, okay.
The ENTJ, the only difference there is internal versus external, or whatever that would be. The ENTJs are usually CEOs. That's what's interesting. And it's not so close, but because that is a pretty big difference of being internally focused versus externally focused.
Oh, got it.
Like having to be calculating and everything else, like that is very important for running a big company versus being an engineer or a scientist. So it's kind of crazy, but at the same time, if you can't bridge that gap, if you can't go from the internal to the external, then you're probably never going to make it.
Got it.
I'm guessing I would postulate that the people
you're not going to make it past CTO, right? CTOs would be the eyes, like us, correct?
Right. Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what I'm saying is that in order to get to be a successful CEO, you'd have to go from being an I to an E, right? You'd have to be able to focus on other people, right? And even if you're just faking it, whatever works, but you'd have to actually care what other people think and focus on others.
Yep. Interesting.
If I have that right at all, I'm not sure if I do.
Right.
I can.
That sounds absolutely correct. Yeah.
It's creepy when you read INTJ profiles. You're like, oh crap, that's totally me. Like a lot. I guarantee if engineers read it, like they'll be like, oh man, that's totally me.
Right. Is there like an online survey you can all take and actually post our results? That'd be great.
That would be great, actually.
We'll see if we can find one after the show. We'll see if we can find an online quiz,
Yeah, and then we can. I'll set up like a Google Doc or something. We can all put in what we are and stuff.
Right.
So,
I think by our very nature, anyone who listens to this show is going to be internally focused. I think.
Yeah. Well, there's the other stuff though too,
biased,
like Yeah. The J is judging, so you have to be like good like with analytical skills.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Very interesting. So
definitely
back to the question that you had of whether or not the Altium product, because this is important, right? So many people care. So many people in our industry and our listeners rely on this product, right? Is it going to be good? I mean. Is it going to change? Are they going to more focus? I have no idea, but I personally have my concerns because a lot of the programmers who I worked with when I was there are now gone. So that's public fact. They've moved on. In one way, shape, or form. They're no longer with the company. So I do hope that they've managed to put on sufficient talent to compensate for that. Because Nick, as I said, was a very hands-on guy as well. That's another, that's more hands on deck that are gone from our team. So I have no idea. I guess whether or not we wait for an announcement from them or whether or not in the next major update of the software, it'll be obvious where they're headed, I guess.
Yeah.
If they're still going to... But they're implying in this press release, it's a bit warm and fuzzy, as these press releases always are. They contain a lot of wank words and financial speak and, But they sort of indicated that they're really going to continue with the web-enabled devices market, which I think it will be an absolute dismal failure for them. As I think most people... this is a company that has one product. Okay, they make a PCB and schematic tool. All right, it's pretty hard to fail in a with one product. Okay, and with an existing market of loyal customers, you just keep those loyal customers happy and what they want. And I think if they're going to follow this web-enabled bullshit. I think they're going to fail dismally. I hope they don't. So, but
Yeah.
geez, I don't know. It doesn't sound good from the implication I get from this press release anyway. So, I mean,
Well, I wouldn't take press releases too much.
Oh,
Take them
no,
face value,
I know. That's why I'm going to, we have absolutely no idea until the next version of the tool comes out and, we see where they're actually headed with it. But I think they might head down the, trying to rent the software or something like that. That's the sort of vibe you get. No one will be able to... because they've moved over the last couple of years, they've moved more towards the subscription model of things, as most of these EDA companies have, right? You don't buy the software, you rent it, so to speak, and you have to pay a yearly subscription fee in order to get updates and everything like that. So
yeah.
Because that, from a financial point of view, that's brilliant for a company because it brings in sustained revenue. So it forces
right.
if
you
you
don't
want
need to have a good new product each year. You can just have one good product and it just continues.
It continues to update, and if you want your bug fixes, you pay your subscription fees. But yeah, the sort of the vibe you get from this is that they're going to, more of the functionality or more of the like libraries and stuff like that. I mean, if they're going to follow that idea where, people are going to buy libraries from an online store or something, that's just going to fail dismally. I think we may have mentioned that on here before. That's just insane.
No, and actually I have a story about that this week.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
Yeah, there's a completely free tool. So Design Spark just released a new they just redid their website.
Grown.
And they actually but part of that is this thing called Model Source, and it's got 80,000 different components basically, and you can go through and you can browse it, and you can find footprints basically for whatever you want to. Now the search is a little wonky. It's you have to actually go through like a shitload of menus.
It's
but
similar to what similar to what Farnell are doing with Element 14 doing with Eagle, and what Altium are doing with
No. This is
Design.
cross. This is cross.
A cross
platform.
EDA tool.
Yeah, that's
so
where it's
you
killing.
can go find Altium footprints with
you go
Design
find
Spark.
a part.
Yeah.
You go find a part basically, and then you pick out what type of footprint you want. So you can get Altium. You can get pads. You can get Eagle.
That's
you can get
very commendable, but very foolish on their part because they bought design. They're trying to flog Design Spark. Maybe they've realised they're failing there, and we may as well be nice guys, right? And and support all the other packages as well. Because I know Eagle and Element 14 don't do that. Element 14, they want you to stick with Eagle, and
Yeah, that's true, but this isn't. This is just about basically giving another tool. Basically, this is another tool that they can sell. This is to pull people into their ecosystem, right? That's the idea here,
right?
And the fact that they have a PCB software, I don't think that they. I mean, isn't there the free? That's another free one, isn't it?
It's a free one. It's completely free, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's fine, but at the same time, they also have this other thing, so. I don't know. I like it.
All right. Fair enough.
Like other than the search tool itself, it's not bad. But to the same point, like, why would you pay for a service then, right? I mean, like I had put something on the list a couple weeks ago actually about there's a different service where you can pay for that. It's actually like a guaranteed. It's the same kind of thing where there's like a standard generalized format that this company owns, and then basically you can convert it to any other type of footprint. Although KiCad is not on either of these, which kind of cheeses me off. But
right.
Whatever. I'll make my own damn library. You know what? You guys, I'm going home.
Oh, dear.
But I think we might have talked about it before, but basically there was another, I'm trying to find it on here. There's another a footprint library that you can basically buy, and basically it's guaranteed to, oh, here we go. It's accelerated-designs.com.
Right.
It's so that's another one where you could pay like upwards of $5,000 a month,
and
or
they
a year
will
or something.
they will do libraries for you. Yeah.
Yeah, basically they'll be your librarian.
There's services like that, but few. I think that's a losing model because most companies in the industry do their own footprints. They have to for one reason or another because it's specifically they're tied into they're tied into their assembler and they have to tweak their footprints for an individual thing, or they just do it from a design rule check point of view,
Yep.
I mean, that's just...
Yeah, at the very least, they're going to have IPC, right? At the bare minimum.
Yeah, yes, but and then they're going to at least check them. You know, they don't rely on... Most good companies will not rely on a footprint that is...
Oh, you mean the end user company, not the library
the
company.
end user company who's actually designing the widget. Yes.
Right.
So,
right.
and
you know... I talked to some people about like starting some kind of centralized service like this before, and I've seen it before and everything, and it's like it's not worth it. You know, like even if it works 99.9% of the time, that 1%, that 0.1%, it just kills you, right? That could be a $500,000 mistake or a $5 million mistake.
Exactly.
You just don't know. So that's why, like you said, they just say every time companies say, nope, we got to check it. We have to do it ourselves.
Yep.
Even if the statistics said that causes more errors, companies will always say that we'll check it internally. And
it can cost more time and money to check it than it does to produce the footprint in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
Just in terms of man hours and paperwork. And, you know, crap like that.
God, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Oh, boy. So, that's a losing ticket. If any company out there thinks that they can start selling footprints and stuff, you're not going to go anywhere. It's just not going to work. It's been proven
it'll work with some people. Right?
There's a niche. Maybe
small
there's
companies,
a small niche there, maybe, you know, but...
But you're not going to be able to charge a lot. You're not going to charge, you know, like you're not going to charge like the board house at TI that's making all their dev boards or you know, another big CM, right? You're not going to be able to charge them because if they're sufficiently large enough, they'll just develop it in house and just do it themselves, right?
Yep.
That's like you said. So it's tough.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The EDA CAD market. So what is Nick going to do now? I don't think we've heard the end of him. I think he's got too much passion to...
Well, maybe he'll do like George Dyson's doing. That guy's all over the place.
George Dyson?
James Dyson, rather. Sorry, James Dyson. The guy that did the Dyson vacuums.
Yeah? What about him?
Yeah. Now he's investing, what was it, $8 million in an incubator?
Oh, okay.
Just like,
right. Yeah.
I make really expensive vacuums, and now I'm going to give some of that money away.
Fund the next generation of startups. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, so he, and I think it's actually, sorry, I should say it's Sir James Dyson. I think he's been knighted. Yes, he's British, so he's been
fancy
knighted.
Fancy.
Right. Do people get knighted in Australia?
Yes, they do, because we're part of the British Commonwealth.
Huh.
So yes, you can get knighted.
So someday you could be Sir Dave Jones, right?
I certainly could be. Yeah, right.
That would be hilarious.
I'll be walking around the lab with a sword, you know, sheathed in my belt.
You put blinky LEDs on it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Ah, boy.
Anyways, though, he's starting up a student incubator, basically.
Cool.
At the Royal College of Art. But apparently that's what happens when you make a lot of money. You just got to get bored and you kind of give it away. And
that's what I'd do if I had a shitload of money. I'd be investing in startups and helping people and doing all that sort of, you know, opening a hacker space and, I don't know, doing all sorts of crap like that.
Do you think it gets better at a certain point where you're like, you just like, well, I'm rich. I don't have to, you know, check footprints on a PCB, you know, like,
right.
So maybe it gets more fun at that point. I mean, like, not that electronics aren't fun, but like, there are some crappy parts to every electronics job, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you just don't have to do it when you're rich. I mean, you just hire someone else, hire one of us idiots to do it, right?
I don't know. I'm too much of a nerd. You know, I'd probably still...
But you're also never going to be a knight.
Oh, damn it. Don't crush my dreams.
Yeah, sorry.
Bastard. I'm too much of a nerd. I'd still be doing a lot of the hands-on stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Please, can I win Lotto so I can find out?
Oh, God.
And I can blog about it. I can blog about my experiences of being rich and...
Yeah. I can imagine every video popping up in the EEV blog YouTube stream is like just Dave showering himself in dollar bills. You know?
Sitting on a throne of cash.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. How much money would you need to be in that position? It'd be in the tens of millions. If you only had a couple of million, that doesn't even buy you a decent house in Sydney, you know.
Well, let's see. I've done this math before. I think it was like, so 5% of 10 million is what, 500,000?
Okay, so
right?
you're doing the interest rate thing that you could just sit back on your throne
easy,
of cash and live off the interest. Yeah, I've always done that. Yeah, I'd say it's like $10 million, you know, where you could, you know, you could actually throw away $500,000 or $1 million a year, spend it in or invest it in something, and without any sense of getting a return on that money, and you could still live for the rest of your life, rich and comfortable.
Here's the thing, though. Most technology weenies like us, right? I mean, if to make $10 million is not a trivial thing. We know that. Mm-hmm. Unless you're like an investor, right? And then it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I mean, like you're probably doing a little work, but probably not. You know, you're not like a founder of a company work, right? People that are doing the really successful technology people, the Bill Gates of the world, the Larry Pages, Sergey Brin's, all them, right? They're working really hard to make that money. Like, I don't think anyone would argue with that.
No, and the thing to be pointed out is that if your business is worth $10 million, right? You know, if you're making $10 million of sales per year, you are not worth $10 million.
Oh,
right?
Totally not.
If Dave Jones Inc. was turning over $10 million a year, I wouldn't, I would not be worth that money. Most likely, when you reach that point, right? You say, for an example, Artafruit, for example, I think they're turning over about $10 million a year or something, right? Mm-hmm. But they've got 50 employees now or something, right? So, so it's like the owners aren't worth $10 million, you know?
Right. Right. And they're rolling money back in, right? I was watching their Ask an Engineer last night. They just got they got a new space that looks awesome.
Oh, excellent.
And they said they bootstrapped that. They're paying for that themselves, which is awesome. That is really, really cool.
It's a smart way to do
space. It. Exactly. And that's going to pay long-term dividends for them, right? Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's like even if you get 10 million in revenues, it doesn't matter. It's it's got to be either 10 million in profit or you got to be $10 million of stock or whatever. And at that point, it's like, yeah, it's a totally different ballgame.
Because a business that is doing well, like in average industry, in Joe Bloggs Corp, in Joe Bloggs industry, if you're making 20% profit per year, you are a really good business, right?
Yeah,
you are a very profitable business, right? So if you're turning over $20 million a year, that's $2 million a year profit for the company, and then you have to divvy that up among the owners and everything
shareholders,
else, right? And that's probably before tax. That might even be before tax, right? So
EBITDA, right?
EBITDA.
Earnings before income.
Earnings before
interest, taxes.
Yep.
D and A.
Yeah, all that financial.
My wife's the accountant now. She's studying accounting. Okay. I'll ask her. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. So
I mean, my point about that all was, even if you're working really hard to get to that point, like you're not going to slow down, right? Bill Gates still hasn't slowed down, right? That guy's super philanthropist now, right? And
of course,
the Google boys are still super crazy about their stuff. It's about the really successful people have that drive to start with, and it doesn't go away when you make money. Money is just a side thing, right? Even Warren Buffett, right? I love Warren Buffett. Like I used to study stocks all the time. That guy doesn't give a crap about money. That guy gives a crap about winning and about betting, about finding good deals. That's all he cares about.
That's it,
and that's
it's
awesome.
That kind of
exactly. Money's just a side thing. So, yeah, we talk about it, but it's I don't think you'd slow down. I mean, I don't think I'd slow down either. Like it's just. You got to keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's.
But if anyone who wants to donate me $10 million, we can certainly run a controlled experiment here, and.
Of course. Of course.
Reminder: go out at lunchtime, buy a lotto ticket. But you're anti-lotto, so the dream's never going to come true to you. You're going to have to do it the bloody hard way. You poor bastard.
The real way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The realistic way.
Do you have any rich? Family who are about to cark it, some distant relative and distant uncle who's going to cark it soon and leave you $10 million or something?
No. I'm not. I'm not from a mean family.
It reminds me of the movie
from modest
Richard Pryor. Was it Richard Pryor? What's it called? Where he
Brewster's
inherits
Millions.
Brewster's Millions, where he inherits.
I love that movie.
I know, it's cool.
Spent $30 million in 30 days or something like that, and you got to keep giving it away.
His choice was to take $3 million in cash now.
No. He didn't have a choice.
Yes,
he had to spend.
No. At the start, he had a choice. They gave him a choice of he can take the wimp clause in in his uncle's will or whatever. Had this wimp clause where he could take $3 million cash now and be gone of the whole thing, or he can try and spend $30 million in 30 days to win $300 million.
Was that what it was?
That was the premise of the movie.
I focused on the $30 million in 30 days.
I
didn't remember the wimp clause.
I can guarantee you that's how it was. There was this wimp clause in quote marks, and he chose, no, I'm going to try and spend $30 million in 30 days. so he like ran for governor or something. And
that is a ridiculous movie.
That's great. If you haven't seen it,
it's good.
Yeah, anyway, so what would you do if you had that choice?
What would I do?
This is an electronics show, but who cares? If you had that wimp clause, take $3 million cash now, or
there. I thought you meant what would I do with a lot of money. I don't know. It's never going to happen.
Right. Yeah, okay. How would you spend $30 million in 30 days?
If I had that $1 million, if I had that money, I'd do I like the tech shop idea. I mean, I'd open up like a tech shop or something.
Yep.
You know, why not? I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a thing about tech shop on our list. Tech shop teamed up with a hardware store around here.
As in a nuts and bolts hardware store.
It's like a big box hardware store. It's called Lowe's. So it's got like a lumber yard and everything. It's got everything basically.
Lowe's is a clothing store here in Australia.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, so they're like Home Depot here as well.
Right.
And basically they're sharing the space, basically because it's this big
open
warehouse
Right.
effectively. Yeah, exactly. And so tech shop down in Austin, they teamed up with them. We teamed up with Lowe's. And so I think that's a really cool idea because then you think about it,
because all the tools are there, right? The
you
hardware
need an
company
extra tool,
donates
you
all the
pop
tools,
over, you go buy one. Yeah, or like you need materials even, you need like lumber. Okay, well I'll go next door. That's easy.
You can buy it. Yeah, exactly. It's all on site there.
Exactly. So my question is maybe we'll see like hardware stores start selling like electronic stuff too, right? It doesn't seem that unusual.
It won't happen here in Australia, but
no, why not?
No. Oh no, our industry's different here. Our market's different.
How so?
We don't have the same technical culture you guys do over there.
Explain.
Like I said, we've all those hacker spaces and all the tech shops and the startups.
You guys have hacker spaces,
right? Yeah, like 2.
So what do people do over there?
Not much.
Yeah.
We don't know, like I said, right? You guys have more technical job openings at one company than we do in the entire country.
Yeah, but we're also a bigger country right? too, right? I mean, like we have 310
It is, but it's not proportionally. But you guys have got 10 times more, like 15 times the population we do, but you have like 100 times the amount of jobs we do, or 1,000 times the amount of jobs we do. There's not a direct relationship there between the population and the job and
that can be
other
an
availability.
economies of scale though thing too, right? I mean, like you're going to go where the largest the labor market is, right? I mean, look at China. China's got tons of available engineers, and a lot of stuff went over there. Aside from the the whole cost thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
Well, that's unfortunate for you. You should probably move to the States.
No, thanks.
And then you could start a Kickstarter.
Right. I heard Kickstarter moved to the UK. Why hasn't it moved to Australia yet?
Because you guys are too tiny. You guys are smaller than... You guys are a subset of the UK.
Yes, we are.
You guys are the cast-offs of the UK.
Boy.
That joke is always funny.
We don't want it anyway. No, I'm just being bitter.
I know. It's okay.
Because we don't have it. Bastard. Oh, boy. But no, it's getting harder to... a lot of people are getting more sceptical about those sort of things, but we shouldn't talk about Kickstarter on here. We do it too often, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
All right.
What else should we talk about? We got a little time left, right? Little bit.
Yeah, time's up. We always go over.
Right, usual.
That's just
a little
what
bit.
We do.
Yeah.
What's this business about bloody Amazon, maybe,
oh, yeah.
rumor has it, trying to buy the
this is
OMAP
interesting.
processors from TI.
I think this is a load of crap.
Oh, well, it might be, but it has one of those air of credibility story, like it could be like an April Fool's joke, but it's got enough air of credibility to it that it could be true, right? Because the Kindles and all of the Kindles, both their e-readers and their tablet, use the OMAP processor, right?
Here's my argument against it, right? We were talking about executives before. Jeff Bezos is one of the best executives out there. I don't think he's that stupid. Getting into chips is one of the dumbest ideas you could possibly make.
Not necessarily when you're a huge
I totally
corporation.
think so.
Apple are going that route to get more control and to squeeze more margin.
You do not see them buying ARM. The day they buy ARM, I'll agree with you, right? The day that they buy the OMAP line,
they can't buy ARM. They'd be
with you.
foolish to buy ARM because then they'd be supporting their competitor as well, who uses
but okay,
ARM,
how about this?
including
The day
Apple.
they stop using ARM, the day they roll their own core, right? Because effectively that's what it is. OMAP is its own core. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Oh, yeah,
I could
maybe
be
I'm
wrong
too. Is OMAP a variation of ARM?
I think it might be. Oh, crap.
Oh, here we go. Let's Google.
Yeah.
This is great on live radio
click.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. OMAP.
Processor.
Is a general purpose ARM architecture core. Yes, it is, according to Wikipedia.
So there we go.
Yeah, of course.
See,
there
we're
you
not
go.
afraid to say we're wrong.
Right.
Okay, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just a family. That's right. And I was thinking of that, too, because when I was saying that it's rolling your own, and then I was thinking about BeagleBoard, right? That's what the OMAP, or that's what BeagleBoard is based on, is the OMAP.
Yes.
But then I remember Jason Kreidner saying something about ARM and A9s and all this other crap. And
But the OMAP processor has lots of cool value-added stuff to it. It's got the memory, flipped on top of it. It's got like graphics processors and stuff built in and all that sort of stuff.
A lot of DSPs that are integrated.
It's a single chip solution. Yeah, so it's a very expensive chip, which because it's got all that functionality built in, which kind of it means that, it kind of makes it viable for someone like Amazon to buy that so that they can, because that'd be one of the key component costs in their products would be the OMAP processor.
Maybe,
so,
but all right, so here we go. The OMAP 4430, right? That's the, I think that's not the most recent, but if you look at the list of what it's used in, BlackBerry, Panasonic, Fujitsu, Panasonic. I mean, like maybe if it's like we're buying it so we can screw our competitors kind of thing. But man, they're used all over the place.
Well, maybe they buy it because they think it's a really viable business in its own right, let alone that they can get the spin-off benefit of having the chips cheap themselves. Right? So they might run as an independent business. Who knows? Anyway, this is all
maybe I just
rumor,
need to keep
right?
an open mind because if you told me, 3 years ago that Amazon was going to buy a robotics company, then I'd say, yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But they did, right? I mean, they bought Kiva Systems, which is their warehouse company. So I guess it does have an air of credibility, but
yeah, but it's
I think they're
rumor,
idiots.
Right?
Being in a chip company, I haven't been in the industry that long, but owning a chip fab, it seems like a terrible idea.
It's a shit
Talk
idea.
about low profit margins and everything else. Like, you want to get rich, do not buy a chip fab. Oh, that's just terrible.
But Amazon are so big, like the Apples of the world. They're so big that they can absorb this as chump change. They can absorb a fab like it's chump change. A couple of $1 billion, chump change, right?
No big deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
who cares if we don't make money from it? We can get our chips cheaper. It looks better on. We can, it's a tax write-off. Who knows? It's those businesses are so huge. I don't know how anyone can understand it. Like at the board level, imagine being the CEO of, and trying to understand exactly how the financials would work. Another reason why you wouldn't want to be bloody CEO for quids.
Well, the financials are easy, but you know what the tough part would be for me? And I think this happens a lot with like the big ones like Bezos and everyone else, would be like, how would you not be able to, like, say you're a CEO of a big company, how would you not be like talking to anyone in your company and being like, this guy's lying to me just to keep his job? That's exactly what I would think in every interaction. This guy's totally full of crap.
Yep.
He's just trying to save his neck. And like, that would be so frustrating. Can you imagine how awesome it would be to have someone frankly tell you, no, you're doing this wrong? Like, I would give that person a hug at that point.
That's what would happen.
Thank you.
That's what would happen in EEV Blog Inc. I would instill the culture in any company I've formed where bullshit is calling bullshit is rewarded.
Right,
and
with
I
evidence,
want you
right?
to argue
Not
with
just
me.
rabble rousing.
Yeah, I want you to get in my. I want you, the lowly guy on the production floor, to get in my face as the CEO or the CTO and tell me I'm full of shit and I'm doing it wrong.
And that's why you'll never be a CEO.
And that's why I'll never be the CEO of a company. Yeah,
never, ever.
Because I want people to criticize me and tell me I'm doing it wrong, and don't give me any bullshit.
Right, and you want to get in a row, right?
And that's how I worked at all companies I've worked at, and that's why I was never promoted beyond. I was sat in a corner, and
never even made it to CTO.
Never even made it to manager or anything.
Yeah.
Yep, just sit in the corner, and we'll tap you on the shoulder when we need you.
Just connect the dots, man. Just connect those dots.
Exactly. Yeah, but no, that's how I would run a company.
Yeah.
Probably to its detriment, but who cares? I'd be sitting on a throne of cash. It wouldn't matter.
One last article about connecting the dots. There, I found this really. I'm sure that you've seen this stuff before, but I've never really done any like really big BGA packages before. I've done a couple little ones.
The big 1500 pin ones, yeah.
Yeah. Xilinx has an interesting app note about. I guess it's actually part of an app note because whoever's hosting it, they like chopped it up. But it's actually this really good guide on how to actually route a BGA, and like
it's an
you've
art
done
in
these kind of
itself.
things before, right?
I've routed out 1500 pin BGAs, and it is if you don't do it right, you can do it by trial and error, right? You can start out and you learn this stuff pretty quick. When you start, routed out your first 200 signals, and then you find, oops, I just backed myself into a corner. I need to add an extra 4 layers to my already 8-layer PCB, right?
Yep.
And there's an art, because multi-layer PCBs are expensive, right? Every time you add an extra 2 layers, you've got to go up in a 2-layer chunk. Every time you add 2 layers, you add, your price might, it might not double, right? But it's going to be a very significant.
Couple bucks each time.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to. I think when you go above 8 is like most fabs can do 8 fairly cheaply, and then when you jump, if you jump to 10 or 12, you can double your costs. So.
Right. If you move to any kind of machine that needs new technology in order to make the boards, then if you move out of the low cost board houses. Then you're going to pay.
And then if you don't do it right, and then you find, I'm going to have to do VIA in pad or something like that, which
Lord.
on BGAs is, you can really end up with big troubles there. And, so it is an art to route out these BGAs, and you could write a whole book on it. And they've got very extensive
and if you
notes.
look at it too, so they have like they show all the different layers next to each other. And actually, I was thinking that it kind of starts to look like Rorschach tests basically, because of just how like all the different
tests?
Rorschach.
Rorschach, no?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it's like like the ink blob tests where you look at it and you're like,
okay.
that's a butterfly, or that's that's a Rorschach test. That's two psychology references today, basically between
very good.
Rorschach and the Myers-Briggs.
You've been reading weird shit, haven't you?
No, I just I'm just a man of the world, Dave.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So you're an
I've
external
also seen
guy.
The Avengers.
So you're not one of these eyes. You're not one of these internal guys. You're more of an external. I'm getting the vibe that you're more of an external guy, dude.
Oh yeah, you saying I'm a CEO material, Dave? Is that what you're saying?
You're CEO material. You're full of shit. Yep.
I'm totally full of shit. You have no idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, well, we should probably call it. But one last thing that I will say is that we have a new layout on the amp hour.
I like it, except for that shitty font.
Oh yeah, I meant to change that. I will be changing that actually. Yeah, we have like a cursive font on there right now, but now
horrible.
you can see every episode. A nice, easy way to see a crap load of episodes. Like whenever there's a player, and hopefully people like it. If you don't,
blow
you can
it
let me know. Yeah, it'll probably be that, but it doesn't matter much. I mean, how often do people go to it?
Exactly, no one cares.
Right? It's just a site. Yeah. Come on, you're here for the audio, so
that's right.
Audio should be unchanged.
Everyone's going,
anything
what?
Else?
You have a website? I thought this just magically appears on my iPod,
That's right. Yeah, if you're doing it right, that's how it goes. You never have to see our ugly mugs or or terrible writing, horrible formatting.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. We will have
Anything
another
else for
guest
this week?
next week, right?
Oh, yes, and they are very well defined, and we know who they are already. Definitely not another mystery guest.
Well, it's always good to have a very well-defined guest.
Yeah. CEO material here, folks. CEO material.
Oh, boy.
All right, man.
right.
Well, we'll see you then.
Catch you later.